I hope that you're doing great today. I'm finally filming probably my most requested video. It's gonna be all about my everyday jewelry, those pieces that you always see me wearing in photos and in videos. I really wanted to share because I get a ton of questions. So basically, I wear my jewelry all the time. The only thing that I change is my earrings because I cannot sleep with earrings on. And sometimes I'll add a bracelet or a necklace or something like that. But otherwise, everything that you see, I wear all the time. I wear them to sleep, I wear them in the shower, if I'm going to work out, if I'm going into a pool or something, I'm always wearing everything. So I have 4 bracelets on my right arm, one from Tiffany, Cartier, Spumoni and Mya Bay. I have 2 rings, one from Thea and one from Bylia. I have my Tiffany engagement ring, and then I have my 2 piercings in my ear. But let's start with the bracelet, and the very first one that I wore and that I never took off is my Cartier Love bracelet. Now this bracelet, this Love range, is probably the most known from Cartier. It had been on my wish list for years before I got mine. This was actually a present for my 21st birthday from my mum, and I've worn it ever since. Now I got the rose gold shade just because I feel like rose gold goes really well with my skin tone. Yellow gold can be a little bit harsh on me, so I got rose gold. I got the one that is open at the back, which is different from the traditional like very circle round one that you see with the little screw, for a couple of reasons. The first one is the price. This was significantly less expensive than the full one, so it made a lot of sense because this cost a lot of money. So if you can save a little bit on it, it's great. The next reason is because I wanted to be able to take it off if I'm painting something, if I'm doing some do-it-yourself project around the house or stuff like that. And sometimes as well for medical exams, you have to take off all of your jewelry, so I figured it would be easier that way. I also much prefer the way it sits on my wrist because it's a little bit more of a novel shape. It's not as round as the classic one, so it sits a little bit better on my wrist. And the final reason came from Cartier themselves. When I was trying on all of the models and the sizes and the shades, I actually tried the full circle one that you close with a little screw, so you get like a screw and a screwdriver, especially to lock it. And the sales assistant told me it's best to come by Cartier every time you take it off and put it back on, so that we can put a little bit of glue onto the screw, because we have had a couple of people losing their screws. And I was like, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm taking the open one, just because there's no way I'm gonna lose a piece of solid gold jewelry, and I don't have time to stop by Cartier every time I take it off or put it back on. Now this bracelet, I have a little bit of story time behind it. So we went to Cartier in Brussels, which is my hometown, with my mom back in 2011. And at the time I was actually living and studying in Paris, but I was back home for the weekend, so we figured out, let's go to Cartier together and see what we can do. We ordered the size, by the way, I'm a size 17, in case you're interested. So we placed the order, paid a deposit for it, and it would take about 3 weeks. 4 weeks later, my mom was actually visiting me in Paris for the weekend. She got a call from Cartier saying that, look, we haven't really ordered the bracelet yet because there's an increase in the price of gold, so you have to pay more for the bracelet than we originally billed you. We were both so shocked because when you go to such a luxury brand, you expect a really great service. And we agreed on the price when we placed the order. We actually paid the deposit. So it didn't make sense for us to ask us to charge more money for something that we ordered a month ago. So we actually told them there's no way we're paying an increase in price or something like that. The manager from Belgium actually called my mom and said he was sorry, that was a mistake on their part, but at least they tried. And the bracelet took another 3 or 4 weeks to come into the shop in Brussels, which is just, it's fine when you have a delay, but the way they handled the whole thing with the price increase, it wasn't good. So we had a really bad experience, I would say. I went back to the store in Brussels, picked up the bracelet, everything was fine. But then for the first 2 years, this bracelet scratched like crazy. It would drive me insane because this is the first piece of like real adult jewelry that I got, and I was being careful with it. Like if I was working in the garden, if I was doing anything that could damage it, I would take it off. I wasn't being too conscious about it in everyday life, but still it scratched so much in the first 2 years. I was so mad about that. Now it has been 9 years and I don't really see the scratches anymore because it has been a little bit polished, I would say, on the top. It's a bracelet that I still love. I still absolutely love the design. I love wearing it. It's one of those pieces that is very special for me. But this is something that I would keep in mind in case you're interested. I know they now do a really thin bracelet, which I really love, but they don't do the open version on that one, and the price increase has just been crazy over the last few years. Now the next bracelet that I got is this one from Tiffany. This is a Tiffany T bracelet. This was my 25th birthday present from my mom. Can you tell her my mom loves to buy me beautiful special pieces? So this was something that I've had my eye on for a couple of months. It was a pretty much new release at the time I got it. They do it in different like width, and they do have ones with diamonds and stuff like that. I went for the rose gold really skinny one just because that was my favorite. Now, I love this bracelet. I think it is beautiful, but I also have a lot of things to say about the quality. Now, to put this bracelet on, you need to twist it like that, which made me so nervous at first because what I thought would happen actually happened is that this bracelet is completely deformed. Like the two T don't align anymore. One of them is actually tilted to one side, and just the overall shape of the bracelet is a little bit wonky now. And also this bracelet catches on everything. If you put on like a chunk in it, if you put it on the top that has, you know, those little, how do you call that, like strings on the inside to put it on the hanger, it will catch on it. So about once a week I'm stuck in some piece of clothing just because of the bracelet, because it's open. And again, the quality isn't the best. Honestly, I think it is a beautiful design, but they should have put more thought into the twist thing and maybe, I don't know, reinforce it in some way. Next, I have my Spumoni bracelet, which was a present again from my mom back in 2016. This is not solid gold, it's just a spray on rose gold thing. This was actually inspired by the Tiffany Atlas bracelet. I really love the Atlas collection from Tiffany, but because I had a pretty bad experience with my bracelet and then with my engagement ring, which I'll get to in a minute, I decided to do something inspired by that on Spumoni. I don't think the brand exists anymore. I think they have been repurchased by Mya Bay, but I might be mistaken. I actually put the date of a wedding in Roman numbers on the bracelet. This is something again that I wear all the time. I never really take it off. It's not good to do that because it has definitely changed color. I don't think they suggest doing that, but I'm way too lazy to take everything off at night and put it back on in the morning. So I don't mind because it's not super visible, but you can tell that there's definitely a lot of wear and tear. And the closing on the bracelet is not the most secure one. I find myself pretty much 2 or 3 times a week with my bracelet open, which I always catch on time, and I can actually feel it because it feels different on my wrist, but it's something to keep in mind. Now the last bracelet that I have is by Mya Bay. It's one of those bracelets that you can personalize as well. This has also the spray rose gold on it, and I actually put a quote from Harry Potter on it. I'm not a Potterhead by any means. I read the book, watched the movies, but I'm not a crazy fan. But I love this quote, which says, "After all this time, always." It's my favorite quote. It's one of my favorite quotes of all times. So I decided to put that on the bracelet, and that was a Christmas gift, I would say about 2 or 3 years ago now. Now, moving on to my rings, let's talk about my engagement ring first, because I also have a lot of things to say. So this is the Soleste ring from Tiffany. I absolutely love this ring. It's by far my favorite piece. I don't really like my hands because I have very chubby fingers, and I'll get onto my right hand in a minute, but I love this ring and I think it looks beautiful on my finger, which says a lot. Now, my issue with this ring is that when I first got engaged, it would always twist and look like that. So I actually went to Tiffany Co and asked them what we could do. I thought maybe we could make it a little bit smaller or something like that. They actually said that the ring wasn't too big for me, that it was twisting because of the weight of the stone, which, let's be honest, it's not like a 2 million ring diamond Hollywood engagement ring, but I believe them because I'm not the specialist here. So they actually put what they call a bridge inside of it, and they took away my ring for 2 months. And let me tell you, when you're freshly engaged, you don't want to give away your rings for 2 months because they don't have a workshop here in Belgium. They have to send everything to Holland. So it took 2 months, and it came back with this absolutely awful little bridge in it. I have so many issues with it. First of all, it's ugly. Like it looks like it's just plain ugly. I can see it when I wear the ring. Obviously people don't notice, but I can see it all the time. It's not centered. I'm guessing because it has some engraving on the inside, like not special engraving, it just says Tiffany Co, but I'm guessing it's for that reason. But the thing that drives me the most insane is that it didn't fix the problem. I still have my ring twisting and turning every day, pretty much. I'm sure you've catched that on videos and in photos before, but it's always twisting. And I actually went to Tiffany Co in Chicago the very next year. I showed them the bridge on the inside, and they couldn't believe that Tiffany did that. So that says a lot. I think it really, it drives me insane because it looks, I can definitely tell when I'm wearing the ring, and it's not pretty at all. Now let's move on to my other rings, but before, I just wanted to say that I really don't like my hands, especially my right hand. I actually burned my hand when I was 1.5 years. I took a curling iron in my hand, and I had to get a skin scrub. I'll put the word, I lost the word in English, but they had to take a little bit of skin on my belly and put it in my hand. So my hand is actually a little bit smaller. I cannot put my finger, I cannot lay them flat. There's a couple of things that I cannot do with my right hand, but I really hate the fingers. They are chubby, they are deformed, because skin is elastic, but when you get skin put on when you're 1.5 years old and then you get adult, obviously it's gonna be a little bit messy and a little bit deformed. But I always put rings on my hands for that very reason. I think it makes it a little bit better. So I have 2 rings. The first one is by Thea, which is a Belgian brand. This I got back in 2016. It just has my name Axelle on it. I have a regret about this ring because they do make it in solid gold, but it was a little bit more, it was out of my budget at the time. So I got this cheapest version where they spray vermeil, I'm not sure what the term for that is in English, on top of it, and it has this colored with dime. It's kind of this very light gold silver shade now. I always get asked what color it is. It was rose gold when I first got it, but now it's this weird color. I just wish I didn't get it or got the solid gold version because I did a mistake there, and this was expensive for like costume jewelry. I should have just gotten the solid gold one. And then I just have this little ring from, I believe it's a Spanish brand called Bylia. This was very inexpensive. It was about like what, 12 euros. And I sometimes switch to rings on my right hand, but I really love this combo at the moment. And then the very last pieces that I never take off are my piercings. Both of them are from Tash. This one is actually 2 years old today. This is white gold with diamonds. It has like 3 flowers. It's holding up great, it's great quality. I love it because it's so shiny. The reason I got white gold is because at the time they didn't have the rose gold with the diamonds and the 3 flowers. They did rose gold with 5 flowers, but that was way too expensive and not what I wanted. So I got white gold, and then I got my piercing back in December in London, like this December. This is just rose gold with shiny rhinestones. It's not diamonds because the one with diamonds was like 4,000 euros. So I got the 400 euros one. Absolutely love it. It looks very nice, and yeah, I guess this is it. This is everything that I wear on a daily basis. If you have any question about a piece in particular, let me know in the comments down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!